Hey, what's good, fam? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Here are 5 takeaways from Alabama's spring football game. Before we get going, help me get this video to 1,000 likes. We appreciate you more than you know. Want to lead off with Jalen Milroe, the backup quarterback at the University of Alabama. Thought he shined during some opportunities that we were looking forward to him having. 11 for 23 on the day, 149 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. The thing I liked about Milroe was his ability to stay in the pocket, his ability to make big plays. I love the fact that he was able to hook up with Christian Leary for a big touchdown down the field. I thought he was able to display good arm strength. And I think when he got going, it's clear that he has the wills to make defenders miss. So I think overall it's a very productive day for Jalen Milroe, and it adds added confidence for Alabama's offense overall, having a solid number 2 quarterback. I think last year that was always the concern, was who was going to be behind Bryce, and was that player ready if they needed to step up. I don't think they were comfortable with that. This year, I think Alabama certainly has a very good number 2 quarterback. The number 3 quarterback in Ty Simpson also looked good. He was 5 of 12, 42 yards. I thought Ty Simpson threw the football very well, threw some dimes on the day, and he also has some very good escapability about him. I think he's a great athlete. So when Ty Simpson, if the pocket does collapse or if he does need to pick up extra yards, he can certainly do that. The returning Heisman Trophy winner, Bryce Young, 14 of 29, 153 yards. Didn't really have to do much on the day, considering he was also going against William Anderson and Dallas Turner, those guys getting around the tackles. And we'll talk about the offensive line in just a second. But Bryce Young threw an interception on the day. We know what Bryce Young is capable of, but I think in regards to Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, really excited about what each of those two put in during A-Day, what they're going to have going into the 2022 season. Let's talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, running back for Alabama. 9 rushes, 100 yards on the day, 1 rush for 75 yards. You could just see his top-end speed. I think that's something that Alabama running backs have somewhat lacked over the last couple of years. Sure, you have Najee, who could get things going, but Najee was never a top-end burner. And when you look to this running back room, Gibbs is a guy that has that top-end speed. So 9 rushes, 100 yards. Let me know what you think about Gibbs inside the comment box. Trey Sanders, 4 rushes, 14 yards, had a nice hurdle. He dropped a pass. Nick Saban mentioned following the game that they didn't really practice that many wet ball drills, and considering there was rain in that second half, that probably had a little bit to do with some of the drop passes that we saw yesterday. Jahmyr Miller, I thought he ran well. 15 rushes, 44 yards. Nick Saban has had a lot of positive things to say about him. Also mentioned the fact that don't forget about Jace McClellan and Boydell Williams. So overall, very stacked running back room, as you would expect. The offensive line, I thought it was a concern during A-Day. Nick Saban has mentioned plenty of times that this isn't the starting offensive line by any means. There's a couple guys out. But the starting line yesterday, the starting offensive line, you had at right tackle J.C. Latham, right guard was Damian George, Seth McLaughlin at center, left guard was Javion Cohen, and then at left tackle was Kendall Randolph. Kendall Randolph having a very tough time with William Anderson. I think anybody who's going up against William Anderson is going to have a tough time. So that's got to be one of the things that we see improve going forward, is the offensive line play. Of course, Alabama adding the transfer from Vanderbilt and Tyler Steen. Let's see what he can do as we get into August camp. Let's talk about the wide receiver production. Christian Leary led the team in receptions with 5 receptions for 106 yards, including a touchdown pass from Jalen Milroe. I thought him, along with JoJo Earl, those guys did what they needed to do. I thought they looked very good in open space. Those are the guys that are going to be the slots that can sneak out across the middle of the field and make things happen after the catch. JoJo Earl had 4 receptions for 51 yards. Jermaine Burton, didn't see too much of him. 3 receptions for 34 yards. Of course, a lot had to do with the pass rush that Bryce Young was facing. Kendrick Law, clearly ready to contribute. Nick Saban said that all spring. 4 receptions, 32 yards. I like his overall size and ability. He's just a big dude, and I think Kendrick Law is going to shine for this team when he does have opportunities. Dow Jones-Bell, 3 receptions, 32 yards. Trayshawn Holden had 3 receptions for 34 yards. Let's talk about Robbie Oots, who had 2 receptions for 13 yards. Nick Saban has had a lot of positive things to say about him. And then Cam Latu had 2 receptions for 17 yards. We all know the connection that him and Bryce Young had last year. Final thought regarding the offense, and I'll have another video talking about the defense coming up here on our YouTube channel, the kicking game. Will Reichert, 3 of 3, hitting from 40, 44 yards, and 42 yards out. Looks solid. Overall, 6 for 6 on the day. Jack Martin was good from 22 yards out, 40 yards out, and from 24 yards out. So, it's a spring game. It's a scrimmage. It's a glorified practice, but I think we did see a lot of positives, especially from that number 2 and number 3 quarterback room. Liked what I saw from the wide receiver room. We'll see if Alabama does add another wide receiver from the transfer portal. It looks like that is a possibility. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, 1,000 likes on this video. I appreciate you guys. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com.